Fiona liked the look of Ray's new apartment. His last flat was in a dingy basement just behind Kilburn Station. This penthouse overlooked Regent's Park and the zoo.
Okay, fine. I can see that you're understanding what you're reading, but we just need a bit more colour in it. So a bit more up and down, light and shade, variety. Okay? Numero uno.
Okay. Fiona liked the look of Ray's new apartment.
Right.
His last flat was in a dingy basement just behind Kilburn Station.
Now that's great, because as soon as you put a little bit more emphasis, the whole thing comes alive. So the emphasis, as much as the up and down, really makes a difference. And automatically you started looking out at me, the audience, the vital ingredient. So that was great. So carry on with that.
If she craned her neck to see past the tropical plants on his roof terrace, she could make out the aviary and the giraffe house. How enticing to be so close to the wild.
Right, great, fantastic, it's coming alive. What we actually need to see, although you are looking up, who are you actually looking at? So really clock the audience, really make real contact, because I think that's what it's about, making a real connection. And as soon as you've done that, you can go anywhere, you can do anything. You can pause, you can stop, you can relax, you can speed up. So, and obviously, eyes mirror of the soul. So it's a question, especially wearing specs, it's just important to make sure you actually are clocking people in a real way. I'm not saying you're not, but it makes a difference. Okay, carry on.
The decor was marvellous too. Unlike her own flat, filled with all the junk she couldn't ever throw away, this room was bare of features. Unless you counted a chandelier constructed from glass balloons.
Okay, do you mind if we stop again? So we could say a chandelier. It's just a suggestion, but if you're bringing in objects or settings, you can always place them. Maybe it seems a bit obvious, but it's not a bad idea. You could even, a chandelier, you can bring the audience's interest up there for a moment. And you can pause for a moment, unless for a moment. So you could just, so really it's like skeins, spider's webs, you're just being a bit of a magician and you just, you know, so it's quite important that you are creating and holding the atmosphere, creating attention. And having said that, I realise how complicated it is because you're actually dealing in your own material at the same time. You've got another job to do. So it's that job and then it's this job. And it's...
Oh, and some grey buttons dotted around the white walls. And also a stylish sideboard, which protruded from the wall and had nothing on it. All this must have cost a bob or two. What was Guy on about? She stretched out on the sparkling white sofa.
Lovely. And now you can give it a bit more welly. Okay, now you've got all that punctuation, which you can throw away when you want to, with a bit more breath maybe, because it's lovely, it's kind of measured, it's got a nice tart quality, but you could do projection, it depends. Here we're in a tiny room, we could be in a hall or whatever. So just to give it a bit more power, which is to do with breath really, from here. So if you could just think about that whenever you want to, and it just gives a bit more dynamic energy.
A smell of dark roast and sauvage cologne, and Ray reappeared, bright-eyed, clean-lined. Nice place. It's the company flat. Look! He waved his arm in the air. Table. The sideboard lit up. A crack in the wall opened, ejecting a strip of perspex, which unfolded into a coffee table. She wasn't sure what this was supposed to prove. She looked around for a sign of strings. There were none. Was he a ventriloquist? It's Piers fettuccine.
Beautiful. It's funny and it's great. Just occasionally words go ventriloquist and others. So ventriloquist, it's good to, and we're exaggerating everything here, so we can throw it away and then you're free of it and do what you like. So just to articulate the syllables, maybe a slightly bit more. So ventriloquist, just it's got a bit more edge, there's a bit more bite.
Sorry, Who? The second of his mood installations. It's called Aspirations. Arthur is what I call it. His desperation is in the Tate Modern. It came with the flat. You do know who Piers Fettuccini is.
Fun. Finally, just draw in the whole audience now. We've got a huge audience behind us. Okay. We've got a massive audience behind us, so you're bringing people in. And my sort of knack is, so you're talking to one person, then you're talking to somebody else, and then you're making a bit of a thing between the two, then you've got them, and then there's somebody else, and then you draw them. So somehow, yeah? So just make sure that you're taking in.
Of course I do. Fiona had no idea what he was talking about. His ideas are so recherché. Of course they are. It sounded like a command. Higher, he said. It was a command.
Brilliant. Can we 2 more minutes?
Yeah?
And maybe let's try a little bit of.
Right.
Yes. So rather than listen, it's great.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to icing on the cake. Rather than that, maybe just a little bit more élan. That was one thing. And you're doing it brilliantly. What I can see is this is the challenge, to be looking down at something and to be coping with an audience. And when you look out and when you come back and how do you pause and etc. So it's that balance. Not you're just throwing out these common things to grapple with, which you're doing brilliantly.
The table raised itself a further inch, wobbled a bit, and kept on rising. "Stop!" he said. He didn't, until it crashed into the ceiling. They both stared as it stayed there. "Down, Arthur," he called to it, more cautiously this time. The coffee table descended, rather haphazardly. Fiona moved her legs out of its way. It reached a position in front of the sofa and seemed to settle.
So absolutely brilliant. Did it feel good?
Yeah, good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
One last thing. Confidential. Because you've got it written in you and it's in there as well. Just occasionally. The aside, you know what I mean? You know something terribly good.